All right. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Facebook and YouTube. This live is on Facebook and YouTube. Welcome to Love Talk with Keisha. I am a coach. I am a speaker. I am an author. Um, Wishing to bring you an awesome interview today with Mario Hemphill. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and pray before we start. If you don't mind, Mario, you want to pray us in?
Yes, we thank you, God, Heavenly Father, God, in Jesus' name, for your glory, God. We thank you, God, for what's about to take hold right now, God, into this confirmation, God, in Jesus' name. We thank you, God, for your glory. We thank you, God, right now for just having a clear mind and being able to just speak your word, God, in Jesus' name. We just thank you, God, right now. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen and amen.
Amen and amen. I'm just going to check my Facebook page and make sure that we are actually live. I'm excited about this interview for one because you're the first man to interview. And it's always nice as women to hear the man's side, especially when it comes pertains to healing and the inner issues, how you all deal with them. So I'm very, very excited myself just to hear your story. So let me see. We will start by me basically saying this show is presented on behalf of Self Love Ministry, which promotes. Somebody say, "Hey, I'm looking at the comments," which promotes self love awareness in regards to us being able to love ourselves unconditionally, especially through our challenges of seeking and needing to heal. We render conversation pertaining to discovering our brokenness and seeking new beginnings. We discuss issues surrounding healing in all types of relationships. The lies, which are the people's opinions and the judgments that are often made against us. The lust, which is the pain, the trauma, and the effects that we face on a day to day basis. And the lessons, the things that are meant to help us heal, recover, and survive. On this show,
Yeah.
we render truth, we render testimony, and we render transparency about our self journey and our life discovery. And today I have my guest, Mario Hemphill. And I am
Yeah.
excited. I'm excited, and he is excited. And the title for this live today is going to be called The Man's Perspective of Healing. The Man's Perspective of Healing. Mario, I'll just ask you to just piggyback a little bit on how we met and how we even began to come about doing this interview.
Yes, I was actually that day I was actually at home and I was just looking through Facebook and it was just amazing the things that you were saying and it just took place in my mind like I got to get in contact with her. I got to get in contact with her and it was amazing on how what you was speaking about and it was just took my interest on that and I'm like, wow, this is an amazing person. She's doing some great things. I got to tell my story on just how men recover our hurt and our pain and love.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Which is a wonderful thing and which is something that we all we all have a story and we all have something to share that can
Yes.
pour to other people. So
Hmm.
I'm very, very excited.
Yeah.
I will start by asking you. My
Hmm.
first question today would be, why do you feel men should be open to healing? Why do you feel
So
that men
say that
should be?
again.
Why do you feel? First of all, before I even ask about men, why do you feel healing is important? Why do you feel healing is important?
I feel healing is a very important thing as well because I feel that you can't go into another relationship if you're not healed from the one that you dealt with. I feel that you have to recover what's now, like, your hurt, your pain, for you to move on, because you're still holding that. You're still holding a lot of different frustrations with your mind, your body. And I feel that you should actually take consideration of that as well, because you can't move on with, just hurt, the old hurt to something new.
Absolutely. And that's something that we really don't think about entering new relationships, even before we even get to the relationship, the dating phase,
Yes.
before we do the commitment. This is something that we don't think about. We don't think about, are we in the proper place to even make that step to, to not carry in baggage. You understand what I'm saying? To not
Correct.
um not put extra weight on someone else.
Mhm.
So it's very, very important. Do you think that it is challenging for men to actually say, like, to address their healing stage?
Yes, I do. I feel that a lot of men, right now, a lot of men is going through a lot of hurt past relationships. I feel that what we're going through as men, our pride get in the way of a lot of things as well. We don't really want to admit to it. We feel that a lot of things right now is not the matter. That it's a difficult situation, because a lot of men, we hide our hurt, and we don't want to, like, identify that.
Okay. And why
Yeah.
do you think that men struggle with identifying, like, I'm dealing with this? Let's just go back to where we started out with the relationship. Why do you think that a man knows he may be scarred or he may have this pain from a prior relationship, but still yet he gets into another relationship? Why do you think that it's hard for him to address those issues or even take the time to say, I'm not ready? I need to
Mm.
get me right. Because as a woman, we quick to say, I ain't ready. I ain't ready for that. But men will sometimes get into it knowing they're not ready. You know what I'm saying?
And really, what you're saying is true. I'm gonna answer that what you said. It's because it's like you in a relationship, and that ended, that excuse me, that relationship ended. And what happened is, we be so ready to go to the next relationship, because we want to cover up that hurt.
Hmm.
We don't want them to see that, you know what I'm saying, in us, because as trying to be a man, oh, I'm a man, I can do this, but still you're still hurting. And the thing is that a lot of people don't understand is we be going through it, your mind, your heart, you're feeling, you're feeling that you feeling that emptiness in your
Mhm.
heart, in your mind. And it's like we try to cover that up and so we don't want that next person to see that we're hurting.
Absolutely.
So we'll put hurt on hurt.
Hmm. And hurt on hurt only causes more challenges.
Correct.
And it makes it harder to
Yeah.
take off the layers to actually identify the main problem. And that's something that I have learned in this last 6 months to a year, to address my issues, but whoever I'm involved with, even challenge them and to identify or pay attention, what this person may be dealing with and how those undealt issues may pour over, to future challenges. So
Yeah.
that was very enlightening, and it really helps. Like I said, for me, it really helps to hear the man side. It
Yeah.
really helps to hear the man side. You
Yeah.
had something.
I always say that if you really, take time out to trying to get to know somebody first, to really analyze what you're going through with that person, that man, it takes that man to be upfront, and it takes that
Mm,
man to actually, just be relaxed and have, because a lot of people just be under pressure. They can't really, like, be correct with their self or be positive with their self, because they're still going through a lot of different hurt and pain.
hmm.
So yeah.
So do you feel that taking that taking that time to yourself is necessary?
Yes, definitely. A lot of things that, and dealing with, myself too as well. I had to kind of like, I had to really take time to get myself together because it was just chaos with a lot of different things. And it's like, if you don't take care of that matter of that hurt and that pain, it's like you keep going through it with every single relationship. It's like, it's hindering you from everything that you're dealing with, because it's like you're not dealing with the first thing that of hand to take care of that and consider that. So you just keep going through it, relationship, because, but it takes time. The prayer, devoting your time to God and really getting into yourself and loving yourself first before you love someone else. I guarantee you. I guarantee you.
And here's the thing, you spoke on how we may go through, this just came to mind. You just spoke on how we'll go from relationship to relationship and we'll think it's the person
Yes.
and not what we're dealing with inside. We won't recognize that I need to step back and deal with my inner issues or give them time to deal with their issues. We'll just say it's them. We'll blame it on the other person, or we'll neglect the work that we need to do inside.
And we will be so much in denial that you'll be like, it's really me. You'll be thinking it's the woman's side, but that's not true at all. It's definitely him, who he is as a person, as a man. Because a lot of times you would say, you be like, really, that's you. And you be like, no, that ain't me. And you'll be going back and forth with each other. But really, it's that hurt and that pain that he's dealing with within himself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Man, that is so, so, so true. My next question would be, we kind of really piggybacked on this a little bit, but can you just go explain a little bit further? Do you think that a man's brokenness and his neglect to take time to heal can affect his relationship or even getting to know someone?
Yes, I do think that as well, because when you're in denial on moving forward and you're not being truthful within yourself and your heart, it's like it's a trigger. And sometimes when you like talk about things like that, they'd kind of like talk about something else to try to cover it up. But that right there is a lot of times that a lot of men struggle with, is because we feel that like if it's something to help us and we know that we're still in pain, it's like we're so much in denial. It's like it's like I'm mad. I don't want to talk about it. I feel that we shouldn't discuss this, and I feel a lot of different things that a lot of people try to put other things in between that so they can, like won't talk about the thing that really take hand, to that matters, Yeah. Feel that.
So most definitely, and I think so. We've taken the time to really, examine the whole healing aspect. God gave me the healing. God gave me the topic of healing a couple of months ago, and I revamped everything. And it's funny because after God had gave it to me, these couple of months that have passed, so many different things have happened where around me, where I look at the healing aspect so different. And I say to myself, God, I didn't realize why you gave me the topic of healing months ago. You know what I'm saying? Even to prepare me for some things, I've recently had to accept. You know what I'm saying? I think that God gave me like this topic because it prepared me in my personal life as well. So, can you explain to us some of the inner challenges that you have dealt with pertaining to healing on your own? I know that when we first talked, you talked about, I think, when you were a child, I think it was a self issue or inner struggle, I would say, that you dealt with when you were younger, a childhood that we talked about when we first met? You remember what we talked about?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of it.
Well,
But
just
a lot,
briefly
a lot of
explain. Just briefly explain some inner challenges that you've dealt with pertaining to healing or self love or anything that can help the
yeah,
women
it was
and the men.
one of the things was when I was younger that a lot of things that I suffer with is attention from my
Okay,
mom 'cause she had
that's what it was. That's what we
yeah,
talked
yeah,
about.
yeah. And I really struggle with that as well as with women. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with relationships as well, trying to be that front of attention. Because my mom didn't really take the time out to really give me that attention. So it was just like a difficult thing for me to commit to women as well. And
Hmm.
it just had me like off and on with certain things because I wanted that. I wanted to be the center of that attention, and I didn't get that as well. So that deals with a lot of things too, as well, by being a man too, as well.
Hmm.
As men, we have a lot of things as being young, and that wasn't really embraced in our life. So when you get to be a grown man and you start dealing with relationships, it's a challenge for that.
Hmm.
And a lot of times I struggle with that as well as trying to seek attention, excuse me,
Hmm.
from women that I, was actually dealing with and had a relationship, with as well. Yeah.
Okay. So if
Mm-hmm.
I could just examine this a little bit. So in your child, we talking about like what age? What age we talking about that this
Probably
became a
by
thing?
about 10, 11, 12.
So we talking about at the age of 10, and
Yeah.
now it even ran over until you started entering relationships. Because
Yeah.
I want to give people the idea, because we talk about this with women all the time, how women deal with issues,
Mm-hmm.
for years and decades. But now we're seeing the man's aspect of dealing with issues from childhood to adult into dating.
Yeah.
So now
Absolutely.
we're taking off and unloading the male side.
Yeah.
So when
And
did you?
it's different too because it's like, you will like find ways in your life that like as a a child, you'll be like, oh, okay, he's a male. But
Hmm,
male, we still need love. We still
hmm,
need that genuine love and those hugs and those, kisses, all that matters. You know what I'm saying?
matters.
Because
So
it kind of messes with your mind and your heart as well, and your character as well.
hmm. So another question I have for you. So when we see that man that just has this pride is written all over his face. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
he walks in pride, but
Yeah.
pride, but that man could still be, having those factors hidden inside. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Those
he
self issues
do.
hidden inside.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing, and it helps me, and I hope it helps other women to recognize, like, just because a
Yeah.
person portrays to be, just walk in that pride. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? That's a covering. Sometimes that's a
Because that's who I mean, that's who we become as men. We don't recover our hurt. We just walk with it. We feel that, okay, nobody didn't help me with it, so guess what? I'm going to
hmm,
hurt the next person. I'm gonna go
wow,
hurt people.
wow,
And the thing is, what you got to understand is, if you don't have God to develop that within who you are, and nobody don't take the time and the efforts to heal that person, it would be like chaos. He would never be, you know what I'm saying, what you want him to be, as as love, and because he had all that, and him just struggling with a lot of different things, pride and hurt and all that. I'm
wow.
telling you. I mean,
So
I felt the same way.
So my next question is, when, as a woman, let's just say as a woman, I meet a man, I really like him,
Mm-hmm.
and I see that pride, and I'm recognizing the issues that he has, but I expect him I'm expected to be loved I'm expecting to be loved in a particular way,
Yeah.
but he can't love me that way
Mhm.
because of the issues that he's dealing with in himself. Is that correct?
Yes. That's true. Because I feel that if you don't love, like I said before, if you don't love yourself first, and you don't have the self motivation and self care for yourself, you can't love nobody else. I mean, because you're dealing with issues that as a child, that now he's a grown man and you're dealing with those issues now because nobody didn't identify it at that time, or nobody didn't talk about it like we're talking about it now, the healing process.
Absolutely. So would you agree that the more that you neglect it, would you agree that I'm not going to say the worse that it gets, but the challenging it gets?
Yes, it do. And that makes that person be very lonely in the, in the inside as well. That like with
Hmm.
that struggle, I don't care. Like I always tell people, I don't care what you have. I don't care what you put out there. If that mind and that heart don't intertwine in the love of what you guys have together, it'll never work
Hmm.
because the healing process haven't really begun on, starting to heal those wounds,
Okay.
start to love that person. And I always feel, I said, man, we need love. We need that, and if I feel if you're not mentally and your heart, you cannot carry on into a successful relationship.
Huh. So true.
You
So true.
can't.
And we hear all the time, how women, deal with loneliness, how women um, will accept a man to fill that void or to feel validated. So do men also do that too?
What do you mean?
Women get into relationships, or women, can get into relationships. I mean, we deal with, let's just say, how can I say it? Women deal with loneliness, women deal with the emptiness or whatever, and we
Yeah.
may connect with someone to fill that void. If you don't feel loved, now you connect with somebody just because you want to feel loved and appreciated. So my question is, in your opinion, do men carry that same struggle?
Yes, they do. It's just a different, it's just a woman is a woman and a man is a man, but we still have those ways, mentally we do. Absolutely.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. And I knew, but I just wanted to ask. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to, because
Some
as
people
I
be
said,
in denial about it because they be like, no, we're strong, we this and that. But I feel that me as a person is, you're totally right. I mean, I feel that that's we go through a lot as the same as women go through, but it's just in different ways, different time.
and how hard is it? Because we know, as for the man is trying to be the provider. He's trying to make sure the house is taken care of. If anything needs to be fixed, he's doing that.
It's
He's
a
doing
lot. It's
everything
really a
to
lot. But the thing is, it's like women, they're so emotional. Men, it's like we'll just say it or we'll just do it or make it happen. But it's certain times in our life, excuse me, that that hurt sometimes you just develop more and more. It's like hurt on hurt, and sometimes you just gotta just let things go.
let things go. Okay.
Yeah,
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 and I had mentioned, with the man carrying so many responsibilities, but yet he's still dealing with those inner issues inside. That load has to be very hard. Like it has to be very,
it
very,
is. It
very
is.
challenging because
And sometimes, we as men, we don't, oh man, that don't hurt me. But really, when you get to a place like, right now, like with me, it's like, dang, you got to take that deep breath and like, oh man, did I really just, say that? Or, you'll get to alone and you'll kind of like, sometimes just cry, or you just feel that way, that void, that you
okay,
got to let it out.
okay. So
Yeah.
with women, I mean, as you say, women are emotional. When it comes to us with the pain and the disappointment and all those different things. So, in the man side, how does is it always anger that the man releases?
I don't think it's a lot, just more of anger. I think it's just more of being a person of truth and not willing to admit to things that he's hurt, but I feel that, you have a lot of individuals that they're not going to really be truthful with you, and they're just say like anything or try to make you think that it's not like that, but it really is. But we do hurt in a lot of times, but we just put it on the back burner, we just,
Okay.
yeah.
And when I've had experience in some relationships where I've dated men where in the beginning, like, they just didn't talk, like they just were not talkers, and it took them a while to open up, you know. And I know for a lot of us, what would you say to the woman that may have a man where he's starting to open up? You know what I'm saying? Like, how should we treat that? Because a lot of times we get into arguments and we go through our issues and stuff, and we'll start throwing stuff out that was told, that was said during a genuine moment. So as a woman,
I think,
a woman that's having a man he's starting to open up, he's starting to heal, he's starting to express himself. How should we go about, dealing with that?
I feel that if you guys are, on a level of, relationships, and you're trying to move forward, I feel that you should just actually, talk more, communicate more, and make him feel comfortable about what he's saying and what he's doing.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense.
Because a lot of people, it's like they don't know, like a lot of these men, they don't have good relationship with their mother. I mean, and now, you know what I'm saying? I do, but a lot of men, we don't have relationships with our mother. So going into a relationship, they just say anything. They just, I'm like, would you talk to your mom like that? Just like, or will you be like this if your mom was around? And some of them be like, well, no, but it's all about who's in their life. You know what I'm saying? What you giving out. And I feel that if women will take the time out to get to know that person, and not try to always, put sex and a lot, you know what I'm saying? Get to know that person, get to know who he is, before you even start calling him a baby daddy.
Considering being a baby daddy,
Exactly.
So true. And so true. Like, and the thing, I say that only because now let's just say, use myself as an example. It's myself, and let's just say I have someone that I failed to get to know, and now we have this child. This child comes in, and there's so many undealt with issues on my side and his side, and now that child is now in the household, and that child is seeing those issues, and now it goes over
and that's how everything developed too, as well as that child being loneliness, as that child's being not cared for, not seen. You know what I'm saying? And then they act out. Then they act out because you don't have that man to sympathize that young man or that young woman or anything like that. And that's why they go like out to the streets and they start loving on other people.
Or even a situation where the mother and the father, all they do is argue, or all they see is the anger in the house. So is it possible for that man to grow up and all he expresses is anger because that's what he's seeing in the household? Is that possible?
True. That's very possible, because guess what? He's seeing it every day. That's like watching TV. Like anything that's on TV, sometimes, you got to look at it. They react to it. Look what's going on the radio or anything, like they react to it. But if they see it in their home, they take it in their mental stage, in their heart. And that's what you wind up being. What you be around is what you wind up getting, because that's what you live with. That's what your mind developed. And that's why where a lot of hurt and a lot of pain come from is because the relationship that, our mom and our dad have,
Hmm.
or who they dealing with on a relationship, level. You got to look at it like that, because I feel a lot of times that we deal with that. Like sometimes when you're young and you're hearing certain noise in the room with your mom or your supposed to be, boyfriend or husband.
Hmm.
I mean, I feel that, and I learned too as well. Someone was telling me about this. He was like, be careful when you have kids in your home and they're hearing certain sex noise, and then next minute they're gonna want to do it.
Hmm.
That's deep.
That's deep. Yeah, you're right. So I mean, and it basically breaks down. I mean, we hear it every so often. We'll hear, and we know it. Like as parents, if we introduce, like we say, the anger, if all our kids see is the arguments, if all our kids see is the drinking, if all our kids see is the mother bringing this man and that man out the house, or the father you dealing with this woman and that woman, that child can grow up, thinking that that's okay. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And now that struggle is put on them, and now they carry that struggle, you know, um, within their
And
own
the, yeah, because and the thing is, when you don't, identify the things that you're doing, and you're constantly, arguing, you constantly abusing the situation, it's like it goes right to the child.
life.
So if
Hmm.
you don't identify the man and the pain and the hurt now, it's gonna go into centuries and centuries. So we gotta stop the curse.
Wow.
We got
And I
we gotta stop. We gotta stop and exercise on real love.
hmm. And how just go into real love when you say real love. So how do we even start to uncover real love?
Once you identify who you are, once you start loving yourself,
Hmm.
and you start taking self-care of doing things for yourself, and that man see that, it's
Hmm.
like it takes a different mindset, because you get a lot of women, a lot of people, oh, I want this man, I want that man, I want this, but that man want to know what you're going to bring to the table.
Hmm.
And you have to look at yourself and take care of yourself, groom yourself, have the self-worth of yourself, so you can identify who you are and know that, guess what, I'm loved. I love myself.
Hmm.
Before man loved me, God loved me first.
Wow. So true. And that
So
goes back.
once you take that mindset, and I knew that when I got into a relationship, when I oh man found my wife, it was amazing,
Hmm.
because I felt that I wasn't even worth her time. Like, I'm like, you
Wow.
get this, you get that. I mean, I have my own stuff going on, but I didn't feel that I was valuable enough to have that relationship with that woman,
Hmm.
because
Wow.
what she was doing in her life, and I'm like, dang, how I'm gonna bring this to the table to better our relationship? Because if I marry this woman, we're gonna be one. It's
Hmm.
not, this is yours. Oh well, don't touch. No, we're one. This is my car. This is your car as well. This
Hmm.
is my house. This is your house as well.
And that
Everything,
and
everything is not just separate. It's one. That's why so many people be, oh, when you get on the phone, they want to gossip, because they don't have that relationship with that man or that woman, or they want to put something in your relationship, or throw something, a stick or something like that, or a stone, because they don't have what you have.
hmm.
So you got to be very careful who you visit, who you go by and talk to, because all those things that you're talking about, they want. And you got to be careful too, because those be the people that sleep in your bed as well, or be trying to get with that person.
Hmm. So you was just talking about how, when you got to your with your wife or whatever, and I write down notes. If you see me turn my head, I'm writing down notes so I can remember my questions. But dealing with that experience of, and I wrote down, am I enough? Kind of sort of what you were saying when you met
Mm,
your wife, you was
I
asking
like that.
yourself,
I am. Oh,
am I enough? Like
yeah.
how like, I'm trying to get my question I want to ask you because it's good. I know as women, we deal with that all the time. Like, am I enough for him? You know what I'm saying? But to hear a man say that they deal with that as well, like, how do y'all deal with, like, can I complete her? You know what I'm saying? Because she, like you said, she's balanced.
And you know what? I can give you this up. I can throw this one. Self-love, to consider being in love, is a different thing as well, because you're taking that time that nobody else will. You're taking that time to invest in his heart or her heart, excuse me, to develop more and more greatness. Like, I'll say something to her and she'll finish my sentence, or I say something, and we'll finish each other's sentence because of what we're saying. But you would just see it the way how you look at a person, the way you hug that person.
So
and I always say, being in love is something is very genuine. It's not something that just always about just sex. It's just, being there to finish, to be there to take care of that person, to love them.
So when you was asking yourself at that time, am I enough? Like, what happened or what came about, like, to really inside as a man, make you for certain, like, yeah,
I really wanted, it's like I saw a lot of toxic relationships, and I wanted to break the curse from a lot of different things that I saw in my family, like in my family, a lot of men and women, they was getting divorced. Nobody can stay together. I want to be that person that said, I want to look up to that person. I want to look up to that man. Okay. I want to look up, you know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Because a lot of people say they want to be married, but they don't know the steps to drive them to success. Because everybody want a microwave. They want to hurry up and rush. They don't want to take the steps to level up.
Absolutely. And that's true. That's true. I can admit that in my past, I was that woman, always, soon as I would meet somebody, may not have been 2-3 months in, I'm already putting a husband title on him. You know what I'm saying? And that was because of the emptiness. I can admit that it was some emptiness that I was dealing with myself. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That I had not took time to feel myself, and I needed a man to fill that void for me. And I'm glad that I was grateful enough to understand, through my journey of self-love, that it doesn't involve the other person. Like you said, it starts with me. I have to start first, because a
lot of people feel that emptiness because they're dead, or that person they didn't have, and they feel that they're like, dang, I didn't have this man in my life. But God will fill that void, that emptiness that's in you. So once you really can consider and take the time out and say, okay, and listen to God and not your flesh. Ooh, come on now. It takes a different level of loving yourself to say, I am enough.
I am enough.
Come on now. I can consider that to love myself, to know. And then when that man see that, oh man, he's gonna, God gonna send that right person, that right man to you, because he already know what you need before you even know. Come on, somebody.
So let me ask you this, man. I love it. So to the woman that may be currently struggling with self issues watching, would you agree that when you begin to love yourself, and a man sees that, you can attract him, and that attraction is different from him physically looking at your body frame. You know what I'm saying? Or him, loving yourself and and just
Self-care, self-care.
self-care and treating yourself good, like you can that's an attraction. You
Yes, it
know,
is.
people can see that and be like,
And then you really got the heads up. Then you got the chins and the eyes and the smiles and the interests, you know, hello, you know what I'm saying? Or how are
absolutely.
you?
And it's so funny because, you know, I want to say last week or something, over the last month, I would say, like at least two of my coworkers was like, "Man, Jenkins, you shining, girl. Like you shining, like you doing it." And I'm just saying, I'm just doing me. You know what I'm saying? Like this time around, I'm just doing me. I'm putting me
Good for
first.
you. Good for
I'm,
you.
I'm
Good for
putting
you.
me first, and I'm learning where everybody else falls into place, and I'm challenging myself in ways.
Absolutely.
I'm challenging myself in ways that I
Keep
never
on,
did,
sister.
challenging myself in ways
Yes.
that I never did, and everybody can't handle that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But I'm fine with it because I'm fine with it
Keep going.
because I feel good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So and I
When
say,
when you feel good within yourself, I had to get that. And it's a whole different way of a man that take care of a woman. He's taking care of his family. And knowing that because he's official in himself as well as his woman. So if a man feel that he's incomplete and he can't do nothing, he's going to walk away faster than what you think he will.
wow. So
Because
when you say incomplete, you mean incomplete how?
incomplete because he's still dealing with hurt as a young boy,
Okay.
hurt in his ways that you feel that this man is a man, but he's not because he still have underlying as that child, as that boy, as that young boy, because he haven't, those hurt and those pains haven't been healed. It's still his wounds is still open. Ooh, come on now. So I don't care how good he look, how he got a six pack or whatever his body or how he look, how he carry himself. If he's still dealing with self issues, and it's, you know, he has that problem of arguing, and it's like you trying to get him better. That's not going to never be because you say it again.
No, go ahead. I was waiting. Go ahead. You go ahead.
Because he still have those underlying things that need to be visit, you know, or, you know, like a lot of people.
And first, as women, we want to change.
Yes.
As women, we want to change men. I've been that woman. You know, we think that we can change them. We think that a lot of times we put more energy in it than what the man is putting in it.
Yeah.
And with anybody, even with a woman or a man, the person has to want to do it themselves.
Yes.
So it has to come from the inside out. You can dedicate all the support. You can tell them everything. You can set up all the meetings. You can schedule everything. But if that what's the word I'm looking for? If that energy doesn't first come from them, like
because God, one thing about it, I can tell you this, and it'll clear everything up. God made the man the head, not the tail. So I don't care how much you can be a six-figure person, you can be a CEO, whatever. God said he put the man as the head, and that head is not in tune to the home of his family, loving himself, loving God first, loving his wife, loving his family. It's never going to work. So what you got to do is take your hands off of it and give it to God. Self-work is, if you don't have that engine with that motor running, that oil, and it's not rhyming up, or you know what I'm saying? You keep on getting the click sound. It's time to go. It's time to go because you're wasting your time.
So do you feel that a woman that is dealing with a man that has no godly insight, no godly connection, do you feel that will ever benefit to his highest? Or that they will overturn those challenges?
I was telling a client of mine, said the same thing. I said, run. Because if he don't, I said, I told her to run away.
Okay.
Because the guy had everything else, but he didn't have God. He didn't have a relationship with God. He had the house, he had the cars, he had the money, everything. But if he didn't, if the one thing that you got to look at, if you don't have that person with a personal relationship with God, you need to run.
And I'll add, a lot of times that personal relationship is not just going to church, because a lot of people go to church. We're talking about the actual interaction with God, the praying, all of those different things. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about just to put it out there. We're talking about,
and the thing is,
we're talking about personal relationship and commitment, or even the willingness to understand and allow God to come in your life.
And like I always say, I'm not saying that I'm, better than no other man or anything like that. But the one thing that I am better is listening to God and knowing the way to level up, moving myself out of the way and putting God right there, and letting God be the head of my ship, my car, my home. Everything, that matters. That's why I was telling you, if you don't have a personal relationship and not just going to church, but I'm talking about getting into your word with God. I'm talking about just letting God, develop new things in your heart from your hurt in your past. Ooh, come on, somebody.
Or just beginning to trust him and understand him and apply the necessary tools to your life. Just beginning begin to ask those questions, or say, God, I need help. I just want you to understand. Just that willingness.
And people get so much caught up in what everybody else say. You got to listen to him. You can't listen to what your mother said or your auntie said, because that was their relationship. That was their toxic relationship. That's why a lot of times in relationships, we go with our mother, say, our father, our uncles, our aunties. But is there a successful relationship? No. You got to look at that. Okay. And the thing is, what I look at too as well, me and my wife had to move 753 miles away. That was in our prayer with God, to say, guess what? We have to visit something else to be motivated so we can love each other even more. My God. Because you have everybody toxic relationship, everybody else that's trying to dip into your relationship because they see the good, but they don't want you to win.
So you have to, so what you're saying is you have to be careful of your environment just as well.
Yes. And that's why, not saying that we was never battling, but our love has got even greater. Even when we take a picture, my wife on social media or whatever like that, it's like you get likes. I'm like, dang, hold up. We just taking a picture. But people want to see the real love. Come on now. I'm just smiling or anything like that. They want to see it. Because it's so much that people, the devil's on a loose, but he is a liar. And it's like people, they heard so much about marriage. Oh man, I thought about it, but I don't want to get. And then you put toxin in within yourself when you hold back greatness.
And I think I think one thing too that deters people from marriage a lot of times is because, myself, you'll look at a lot of people that are married and everybody, you see so many challenges, you see so many people that are cheating on their wives, or, people that can't stay together, can't work through their challenges, people that, just can't
and
work.
That deals with childhood things. That deals with child things, as a child, when you haven't really been paid attention, you want somebody else to pay you attention. So you want to go to somebody else's house and do other different things that you don't do with your wife.
Wow.
Because you're damaged in the inside as a child. So those things as a child, you're still doing it as a man. So you
And
can never be in a.
one
Excuse
thing
me.
that I wrote down when you were talking before, I wrote my question was going to be, can a grown man function as a boy? Can a grown
Mm.
man function as a boy? Because of his undealt with issues, can he function as a boy? That
Mm.
one that expresses all of the anger and don't know how to deal with the
No,
issue.
because he's not mature. He's still immature.
The one that's
He
been dealing with the inner issues and all he
he's
knows is
still
cheat. All
he's
he
still
know,
dealing with the.
all he knows how to do is cheat. He don't know how to stay with one woman. You know what I'm saying? Those types of things are very, very important. Like we have to pay attention to these things. And I'm not even gonna lie.
And you know what?
I'm just starting to get into this mindset where you have to examine these things when you start dating. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like we have to.
that's
We
important.
got to ask those questions. Like how were you
Yes.
raised? You know, what's your relationship with your mother? You know what I'm saying? Are
Yes.
you involved in your kids' life? You know what I'm saying? Like as a woman, I you gotta start asking these questions because when the more questions that you ask and you begin to look and read between those lines, it'll tell you some things.
Yeah, it's true.
It'll tell you some things. Certain things. The way that he goes about, his everyday life dealing with certain issues will tell you
My my
actually
my
pinpoint some of the struggles that he deal with.
yeah, my thing, I was just, praying the other day is that I pray to God that I can be a person that can help men,
Hmm.
with a lot of different things that they went through in their, just life period, but to help them better them within who they are.
Hmm.
And you never know. I really pray that God will bless what we're doing and what we're putting out, that this can be in the universe.
But here's the thing: what happens when you meet that man? Because a lot of men. My next question was going to piggyback on, speaking on men struggling with healing and not wanting to go to, not saying that some people can go without therapy, but what happens when that man really needs therapy, but he's rejecting therapy? In a mindset of therapy, piggyback how men deal with therapy, why they don't want to go or why they don't feel it beneficial. Is it always because they don't want to
I
sit down and
think
talk about their
I
business?
think some men, like you said, women want change, men don't.
Wow.
And I say this because they want to keep doing the same thing that they've been doing over and over. They don't want you to identify it. They want you to stay where you at in that little box.
Hmm. So as a woman, we should challenge that though, right?
Yes, correct.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Definitely.
Because it happens where we won't challenge it out of love. And then we find ourselves in an unhappy,
Because you know why?
unhealthy, and an unloved spot.
You know
And
why?
now we blaming the man, but it's not the man's fault because we stayed and dealt with it.
You know why? Because you don't want to hurt him.
Absolutely. But we hurting ourselves, right? By staying.
Correctly. Because guess what? If you don't get mad and change the way you're gonna feel empty. You're gonna be mad at self because guess what? God said you gotta challenge that man.
I'm telling you, I'm just starting to learn this. At 44 years old, I'm just starting to learn how to
But you know
challenge
what
a man.
though?
The
We will
mature
always
way. The
we will
mature way.
always we will always keep the mindset to learn no matter what. We're still learning. No matter what, no matter what how your age is, you're gonna continue to keep learning. You have to.
I'm trying. I'm trying. One of my goals is, I will say I'm still trying to figure through some things,
It's
still trying
okay.
to figure through some things. And my
But you
personal
know
life,
what?
I figure before I go out and try to
Guess
figure
what?
it out somewhere else, I'm gonna try to figure out where I'm comfortable.
But
I'm
guess what
comfortable
though?
where I am. This
Guess
familiar
what?
spot.
Guess what? You're honest about it.
Oh, very honest.
So,
Very honest.
when you take that mindset, you're gonna win.
I'm claiming it. Because here's the way that I figure. Here's what I always tell myself, and this is growth. Growth taught me this. Why allow myself to enter a whole nother zone that I'm not ready for when I already know what I'm dealing with? So I'm exposing myself to a
Yeah,
whole nother area I ain't ready for. So
that's true.
I might as well stay where I'm comfortable at, challenging myself and challenging that person. So whether
Yeah,
it goes left or whether it goes right,
good for
I'm,
you.
I'm growing in the middle of it. You know what I'm saying? My mind, I'm growing mentally. I'm growing spiritually. You know, so I'm good with whichever way it go. And one of the
Mm.
hardest things I had to do is block out what other people thought. You
There
know,
you go. That's
block out
it.
what other people thought, because a lot of times we'll stay or we'll go based on other people. A lot of times we ain't
Yes.
ready to go. A lot
And
of
you
times
know
you
what?
ain't ready to go. That's why you
And
keep
guess
coming
what?
back.
That other person that you're listening to, they don't have any mindset of change at all.
And not
Because
even
guess
that.
what? Because guess what? They're afraid.
Just like you.
Just like that.
But and when the shoe is put on them, they won't even take their own
No, they
advice. But
wouldn't.
they want you
No.
to take their advice. So I had to learn how to start listening to God.
That part.
Start waiting for that confirmation from God first. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
I'm
And I
strictly
always tell
confirmation.
people, they like, how do you hear from God? How do you just sit down and be still?
You know how I learned, and I was that person. And I would tell you, I used to pray for things, I used to ask God for things, and I would hit a radio. I would see something on the TV. I would read, like it would come in several different forms, like whatever I was dealing with, whatever I was asking God for, whatever, something related to that area, that topic, or whatever, that thought. Like God would reveal it in so many different ways. And I really
Be
didn't realize
still and
at that
listen to
point.
God.
Yeah, I didn't realize in the beginning that's what it was. It was God showing me direction. It was God, giving me the confirmation. So now I'm really strict on confirmation. Like I'm really strict to confirmation.
Good for
So
you.
yes, but I'm definitely trying, and I like to be truthful and I like to be transparent. And I'm asking all these questions for the women out there that may be wondering these things. All these questions ain't for me, but somebody watching may have, may be thinking some of these questions, because as women, we do get involved with men that we know we have no business getting involved with. I've been there. You know what I'm saying? We do stay with men that are breaking us, that we see are broken, but we still stay. And we keep hoping that it's going to change. We keep praying that it's going to change. But because nobody is putting in the work and nobody has done the work, and the biggest thing that we just said, nobody is challenging the other person, we stay in that bitterness. We stay in that toxic relationship. We stay in that dysfunction, and we roll it over to our kids, and
Yes.
it rolls over to them and their kids, and nobody breaks that cycle, like you said. So it's very, very important. It's very, very, very important. Man, awesome conversation. That's all I can say. My next question would be: Can a woman support? Can a woman support be satisfying during a man's brokenness stage?
Say that again.
Can a woman's support be satisfying or helpful during a man's brokenness stage?
Yes. I was in that, that was me. Before I met my wife, she was just, very, very thoughtful of me, and, the concerns of, what I do, what I say, what I put out. And in the process, she was helping me.
Okay.
So that's true. She was helping with a lot of different things I was going through, in and out, relationship things. And she was a friend before she was a wife. But now she's a wife and she's my queen now.
Wow. So being able to be friends is very important, you're saying.
Yes, it is.
Because a lot of times as women,
Because I was used to women, and I'm just being real. We talking real talk, right? We talking Keisha talk. We talking
real talk. It's real talk, baby. Real talk.
And the thing was, some women will just, oh, you're a nice looking guy, blah blah, and they'll just, do what they do, whatever. But when I met my wife, it was different. She wasn't just a person that say, oh, well, she's like, well, it'll be worth your time if we just consider to be friends first. And that made me like took interest of a lot of different things, because some women, they just lay down with you and have sex or whatever. And next minute, that was it. You don't have any interest.
Wow.
Because they just, okay, oh man, you go out, have, a couple of dates or whatever like that. Next minute, that's it. You know what I'm saying? The flesh. And next minute, I really liked you. But the man gonna look at you a different way because you already gave it up to him.
Wow. And man, I'm telling you, listen. So what you saying is, as women, we need to focus on being friends more and keeping our legs closed and getting to understand some things before we even give them the goodies.
Because you show everything. And now these days, these women, they show just, look at them, look how they dress. When you go out there and you go into the store, you go to Walmart, why you got heels on and shorts up to your thighs? You know what I'm saying? You showing a man everything that you're not giving that man like, okay, you wear that nice, pretty dress and you got a nice body and things like that. Okay, but cover it up. You don't have to, you can have a little sexiness to it, whatever, but don't show everything.
So asking this question for the women, because a lot of times us women, we like to step out the house looking good. We want the hair looking good. We want the makeup. We want I'm not That's really cool. the eyelashes, all that. We want the clothes to look good. We want to show our And
a lot of women, y'all put in a lot of work. Look,
we put in a lot of work. We want to look good when we step out the house. But what you're saying, I want to piggyback what you're saying. You want to say you don't have to expose everything. You know what I'm saying? Just for a man to know.
Give me something to think about. Give me something to think about in my mind to say, oh man, I think that's going to be my wife.
Wow.
It's a more powerful when the man put the statement than the woman. Oh, that's my man. That's my this and that. And knowing that ain't your man, really, that you sleeping in the bed with, that's somebody else's man.
Wow. Wow. Woo, woo. So what you really saying is, as women, we need to keep the man thinking. Don't give him everything. Like, don't show him everything. Keep him thinking. Because my next question was going to be, as a man, when you see that woman and she's showing almost everything. She's showing almost everything. So
you don't supposed to be able to see a woman piercing. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's supposed to be something like kind of like, you know what I'm saying, the room. You know what I'm saying? When you can see a woman's piercing in her belly button, and I'm like, that's just too much right there, for real. I mean, you supposed to keep things kind of private as well as a woman.
So what you're saying is men that are in that spot are really looking for a wife. So these are
yes,
the
they are. A lot of them are.
These are the things.
A lot of men. Like I said, I was in that position. Like, I just got tired of like dating and saying my girlfriend. I said I was too much as saying to myself, like, I'm a man. I have different things as a man, what I expect as a woman. And I'm like, certain women, I mean, they wasn't on my level because I see the way how they carry themselves. I see the way how they dress and how they talk and how they, you know what I'm saying? So for us ladies, when we go out, and let's just say this example, we go out and we showing everything. We showing everything. And that man approaches us and we think, oh, this is it right here. Versus that man that may like you, but he's like, baby, you showing a little bit too much. You know what I'm saying? Like my wife, when I first went on a date with her, she asked me before we was about to get together. And she asked me, she like, well, would this be too much? Or, this dress, or I'm gonna show a little late, give him a little something that, you know what I'm saying? That, some like, kind of talk to him and see, baby, is this enough? I mean, or is this too much? He'll let you know. But just doing it on your own, and you be like, that's a little
Assuming that
too.
it's okay. Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
So we should not assume that it's okay to just show everything.
Because
I,
because
I
the man
truly, I truly
he will
believe.
look, and he'll be like, she look good, but I just want her for that one night.
So he ain't thinking that you gonna be his wife. He ain't trying to make you his wife. He just trying to get in those.
That's right.
Wow, you helping us. I'm telling you, you helping us. So as ladies, what you telling us is we shouldn't be exposing everything.
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong
Because
with looking good.
you don't give that man enough. Like, you gotta, you know what I'm saying, feed him slow, not fast.
Wow. All right. You helping. You helping. You helping. You good over there?
I think the phone went out or something. Hold
No,
up.
you still on the string.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I probably gotta take it off because let me see. Hey. Oh, there you go. There we go.
Okay, you got it. My next question, we got maybe two more questions. So basically, I just want to piggyback on everything we just said so far. Oh, he might have left us. Oh, he has left us, y'all. He has left us. This was such a good conversation. And I'm just going to keep talking even if he don't come back. But this conversation with him just helping us to understand how a man deals with healing, not just how a man deals with healing, but how a man thinks, once a man himself has healed, or I'm not going to say heal because healing is continuous, but once he has entered his healing stage and he has begun to grow and he has begun to mature, his mindset changes just like us when we grow. The mindset changes. As I always say, our desires change. The woman that he might have picked, like he was just saying, that woman that he might have picked that had everything showing, because he has now gotten taken care of his issues and he has now grown and he has now matured and he has now challenged himself. Now his thinking is different. Now he looks for different things. Now he wants different things, and whom he chooses to just wife, could be mate, girlfriend, dating, or whatever. So healing altogether promotes growth. And with growth, we know new desires come. With growth, new mindsets come. With growth, new wants come. So many different things. So I asked all the questions, not to seem like, I don't know. I ask the questions because I know the things us as women struggle with. I know the conversations that I sit down and I have with women, and I know their struggles. I know myself, the things that I was dealing with in my early 20s, rolling over to the 30s, and just starting to acknowledge as a 44-year-old. I know the things that we struggle with, and I know the neglect as a woman. And it was very, very helpful today to have a man to highlight, to have a man to actually step in and say, like, we struggle too with these inner issues. Like, we struggle too with these inner issues. We deal with these same things. As he said, men also deal with feeling, am I enough? Am I enough for that woman? Am I enough for this woman? Because she has her own place. She has her own car. She's financially stable, and I'm bringing what I have to the table, but it may not be enough as what she had. Can I really complete her? Because she's gone through that stage of learning how to love herself. So can I complete her with a little bit that I have? And these are some of the things that as women, sometimes we don't think about. These are some things as women we don't pay attention to. And I am just beginning to learn in my journey, and in my phase that I'm in, to pay more attention to whomever I'm involved with. Like, pay attention to past issues and how they're dealt with, how they're dealing with past issues, or are they addressing past issues before becoming extremely serious. Because a lot of times, like I said, we are putting in that energy, we're putting in more work than what they are. And with anybody that's trying to form change, anybody that has an aim that is trying to achieve better or greater, like it has to come from them. It truly, truly like has to come from them. So today I was just, it has really helped me. He's coming back. It has really helped me to have this conversation today with him because, like I said, I know the things that women, he's coming back, y'all. Let me add him. All right, you're back. I was just talking, waiting for you to come back, and I was just sharing that
Yeah, the
how
phone
thankful
almost
I,
dead.
okay, I was. Did you charge it up?
Yeah, I'm looking for the charger because this is my wife's phone here.
Okay, so we only got about 15 more minutes. Okay, so we're
Okay.
going. But I was just saying how thankful it is and how helpful it is to just have
Yes.
a man, talk about the things. And I was just sharing how
Hmm.
the aspect of how a man that has not addressed his issues and still dealing with those inner issues, how when he
Yes.
begins to address those issues, his whole
Hmm.
mindset changes. You know what I'm saying? His
That's true.
desires change. His desires of the women that he may choose to deal with now changes because he has put in the work even himself. And that's very, very important. That is
It's
very,
true.
very, very important. One of the questions I wanted to ask you is what has been the greatest benefit overall in your personal journey of just choosing to just work on Mario and deal with become the best Mario you can be? What has been the best or the greatest benefit?
Me is the greatest is knowing God first and taking on all my hurt and pain to understand that you can overcome
Wow.
and meeting the woman that I have. She changed a lot of different things. She made me a better man.
Wow. So women can help a man become better,
Yes,
correct?
yes,
But what
yes,
does it take?
absolutely.
What does it take? I know that it has to take some special things. So how did your wife help you like maneuver through your struggles? That's very
Because
important. I want to know.
she actually helped me to recover those pains and hurt.
Wow.
And it made it even more better because I trust her
Wow.
to do that. And it made a better different than in my life because it made me a better man now. Now, I have a home, here in South Carolina, beautiful home, 2-story home. I have a business as well. And that's something that we share together.
Okay.
And I'm helping other men, women identify certain things that they need to kind of expose the wound.
Hmm. I really
So
go ahead.
I,
You can finish.
I just thank God for that. That's the most important thing is to be true with self
Be true with self.
and
And
to
I
be
just
real.
want women to understand that, that's why it's the key factor that as women we get ourselves together and we learn how to love ourselves so that by chance if we meet that man that is broken, that we can pour into him and encourage him to take the same steps that we taken. Man, that's so great. You just helped me. You truly, truly helped me.
Praise God.
And through your healing and through your meeting your wife and everything, all of that, you have found purpose. You have found purpose to help. You have found purpose to be passionate about wanting to help other men overcome, correct?
Absolutely. And through this, I'm willing to help others. I'm willing to, you just got to take the time out to heal yourself. Talk to somebody. This is therapy. This is something that's
Absolutely.
this is gonna help throughout the years what we're going through.
Mm-hmm.
Start now.
So do you think that, and this would be one of the last questions, do you think that it's very important for us as women to pay attention to the red flags when we, and I'm not even going to say
Yes.
red flags, but just to pay attention in general, you know, the ins and the outs, pay attention to the anger, because we look on TV and we see, you know, the men that had the anger issues, but now they've killed the child, they've killed the family, they've done this, like to really figure out and challenge the man, like, how long have you carried this anger issue? You know what I'm saying? Because he could have been carrying that anger issue from childhood and never dealt with it.
Yes.
And now it's pouring over into your relationship. And now that becomes the main struggle of your relationship, his anger. Or even cheating. A lot of times we feel that every man that cheats is a bad person, but sometimes that's all he knows. Sometimes that's all
True.
he knows. And women, and you haven't challenged him enough. You know what I'm saying? To let him know, I'm not the one for that. Like, I'm not the one for that. You know, and I truly believe at my stage that men will make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Men will do things. I just feel that you have to be able to challenge that man and let him know what you're not going to tolerate. You know what I'm saying? And
That's it right there. That's the main course of it all.
give him the room for growth. Give him the room for growth. Give him enough time to prove himself that you're really the one that he wants to be with, and he's going to make that change for you. And if he don't, it's fine. But don't sacrifice your feelings and don't sacrifice your heart because of it. Correct? You feel the same way?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. And then accountability. How important do you feel accountability is with our choices and our decisions? Some people know they're broken. Some people know they're dealing with this self-love thing. Some people know that they have this pain and disappointment inside, but they don't want to take accountability for that. Like, they want to stay in that same comfort spot. You know, like ending this live, like, what encouragement can you give to that person just that feels like, I'm good. Like, I'm good right here. I'm familiar with this. Like, it doesn't feel good, but I'm good. Like, I try to tell people, like, challenge yourself. There's benefits to healing. Like,
The first thing, you know, I can give it to anybody, just being on this live, is be true with self first.
wow.
And when you identify your wounds, they will heal. But first, you have to pretty much admit to your truthness of who you are as a person and a man or a woman, no matter what.
Absolutely.
I guarantee it. You know, take the time to get self together before you even try to get in a relationship with someone else.
Absolutely. And what about, because people are in relationships and have these issues, they're still workable, correct?
It's true.
True. Like, yeah, they're still workable. People are in relationships and they're facing those challenging moments. You know, they have some unresolved issues in the midst of that relationship. But I truly believe that if you begin to do what you just said, if they just start to sit down with each other and begin to admit, I'm struggling with this. This is a trigger for me. You know, begin to find a sense of release. Like, it will help strengthen that relationship. And I know from my personal life, it will begin to build some communication in that relationship. So even if we're not just talking about single people, we're talking about people that are married, people that are currently in relationships and dating, that are facing those challenges. Like, admit to your mate, to your husband, to your wife, to your boyfriend, your dating partner, admit your struggles. Let them know. They need to know, because they need to know
because that's gonna give them validation as well, to say, do I want to deal with this person or not?
And I was just about to say that.
Give that person a choice or option to say, guess what? Do I really want to deal with this person, or you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes people put love in it, but guess what though? I go back to say self-care. You got to make sure that person is mentally, they heart. You got to make sure everything is lining up, because if it don't, it's not worth it. I'm telling you, don't take the time to struggle with somebody that don't want to admit their hurts. Absolutely. And I got like 2% more on this phone. So hey.
we about to leave, and we just wrapped it up just with that. That's the way that we can end this live. Like, don't continue to pour energy into something or someone that really cannot admit and be honest with themselves, because you are sacrificing putting yourself in a hurtful position, in a hurtful spot, and it's going to cause a whole lot of pain. Man,
Yes.
I thank you so much, Mario, for this interview. I thank you so
Awesome.
much
Well,
for this.
thank you as well.
Yes, thank you again. And this was
Blessings,
awesome.
much blessings to you.
Much
Much blessings, much success to you as well. And, looking forward, you know what I'm saying? More and more greatness behind this.
Yes, and I'm going to put a post. Your batteries running low, but I'm going to do a post, and I'm going to put your email on there and some other things so people can reach out to you. Okay.
Definitely. I really appreciate that. All I can say is self-love, be true with self, and understand that if you be true with self, everything else will work out in that order. I'm telling you. And all the people that say, oh man, I ain't going to be married. Everybody want to be loved. Everybody want to be loved. But it's about the way how you want to be loved. That's something next time that we can talk about.
Yeah,
Come on now.
we'll do another one. Let me know when you're available, because I'm ready for the next one. All right. You and your wife too. Like you and your wife. We could do another episode with you and your wife. Let her know if she's ready for it. We could do it next month. Let me know.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Enjoy your
Thanks
evening, Mario. Thank you again.
Too. Much blessings. You have a good one.
All right, you too.
Thanks a lot for having me.
All right. Bye-bye, everyone. Hope this has been helpful. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.